Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. Just a quick note before we begin. This is a translation and reproduction of conversations with Iranian philosophers like Dr. Ebrahim Dinani and Dr. Esmail Mansouri Larijani.
That's right. And because it's a translation, some concepts or details might not come across perfectly. We do apologize for any potential discrepancies.
So, in this fourth deep dive of our series, we're continuing our journey into the thought of Khajeh Nasir Tusi.
An incredible figure, truly. His work touched so many different areas.
Absolutely. His reach was just immense. And today, we're focusing on something really fundamental to his thinking, his view on dialogue. Specifically, dialogue as a way to actually discover truth, which feels, well, very different from just debating or winning an argument.
It really does. And it feels quite relevant for us today, doesn't it? How we talk to each other, how we learn.
Definitely. And our insights today are drawn from discussions on the Maarefat program.
Yes, we're aiming to sort of unpack Tusi's idea of what makes dialogue genuine and why he thought it was so crucial, really, for growth, both intellectually and personally.
Okay, so maybe a good place to start is a distinction that Dr. Larijani pointed out. The difference between Guftogo and Jadal or Monazara, which are more like debate or argument.
Exactly. For Tusi, that difference is key. Guftogo, or dialogue, is at its core collaborative. It's meant to be two-sided.
Two-sided.
Yeah, where the main goal isn't proving you're right and the other person is wrong. It's more like both people are working together.
Okay.
Pooling their perspectives, to get to a deeper shared understanding, uncovering the truth together.
So it's really not about trying to win the conversation.
Not at all. Tusi actually warned against that. Dr. Larijani used the analogy of intellectual Mosera.
Wrestling.
Yeah,
right.
Where the goal is just to pin your opponent, intellectually speaking. Tusi believed that if winning becomes the main focus, well, the whole point, the search for truth, gets lost.
Ego takes over.
Precisely. Ego gets in the way of genuine inquiry.
Right. And debate, jadal, that tends to lean more towards the victory aspect.
It often can, yes. The focus might shift to, just validating your own stance and picking holes in the other person's argument.
Instead of actually engaging to understand the topic better.
Right. Instead of illuminating the subject from different angles.
Okay, so if dialogue of Togo isn't about winning for Tusi, what did he see as its real purpose? What's the ideal result?
It's about expanding understanding. Tusi talked about something like the merging of horizons.
Merging horizons. Interesting phrase.
Yeah, think of it like this. Each person has their own viewpoint.
Right.
Their own sort of horizon of understanding.
Okay.
In real dialogue, you actively try to see the issue from where the other person is standing. You try to grasp their viewpoint.
So you're trying to understand their framework.
Exactly. And here's the key part. By truly listening and understanding where they're coming from, you're not just maybe changing their mind.
Right.
You're actually expanding your own ability to see the world. Your own horizon gets bigger. It's growth through connection.
Ah, I see. So it's a mutual expansion.
Yes. When different perspectives genuinely interact, when you look at something through multiple lenses, you end up with a much richer, more nuanced understanding than either person could have reached alone.
And this leads us to how Tusi thought about truth itself, doesn't it? Dr. Larijani helped clarify this.
It does. For Tusi, the ultimate aim of this dialogue is revealing truth, hakika. But, and this is really important, Tusi didn't see truth as some thing that one person could just possess exclusively. Like, I have the truth and you don't.
Okay, so it's not a competition for ownership of truth.
No, not in that way. It's more like truth is an objective reality, perhaps, or a deeper understanding that we're all trying to get closer to.
Collectively.
Yeah, and Dr. Larijani used a really nice analogy here from Islamic practice.
The idea of seeking closeness. Qurb.
Exactly that. Seeking Qurbi hakikat nearness, to truth. It's like the intention in worship, Qurbatan ilallah, seeking nearness to God. The focus is on the approach, the intention, the shared effort in striving towards it, not claiming you've arrived and planted your flag.
That really does shift the focus, doesn't it? Away from individual ego.
Right.
And towards more of a shared quest for knowledge.
Absolutely. It makes intellectual work feel more like a communal project.
So did Tusi see philosophy itself as fundamentally dialogical? Was this kind of exchange, this Guf Togo central to how he approached philosophy?
Yes, very much so. He saw philosophy as deeply rooted in dialogue, and importantly, it wasn't just about people talking to each other.
Oh, what other kinds of dialogue did he recognize?
Well, obviously, there's the interpersonal discussions, debates, even if done with the right spirit, talking with scholars, theologians, mystics.
Right.
But he also stressed the importance of internal dialogue.
Internal dialogue,
Right.
like talking to yourself.
Sort of, yeah. That inner process of questioning your own assumptions, thinking through counterarguments in your own mind, self-reflection as dialogue.
Okay, actively challenging your own beliefs.
Exactly. He saw that as crucial. Then there was dialogue through correspondence letters.
Ah, like intellectual exchanges by mail.
Yes, Tusi did a lot of that, exploring ideas across distances. And maybe one of the most fascinating aspects is his idea of dialogue with texts.
Dialogue with texts. That sounds almost modern, like reader response theory or something.
It really does resonate, doesn't it? Tusi didn't see reading as just passively soaking up information.
Okay.
He saw it as an active conversation and engagement, and it's initiated by the reader.
How does that work? How do you converse with a book?
The key, Tusi thought, is to come to the text with a question. You're not just reading to see what it says, you're reading because you're looking for an answer to something you're already wondering about.
So you start the conversation with your question.
Yes. And Dr. Larijani mentioned a really interesting step Tusi recommended. To ask the text itself, what question are you the answer to?
Interesting. Why is that important?
Because if you can figure out the original problem the author was grappling with, you have a much better shot at understanding their answer, their text, in its proper context.
Ah, so you don't impose your own modern issues onto an old text unfairly.
Exactly. It prevents misinterpretation. It makes reading a genuine back and forth across time.
This seems connected to another really deep idea that came up, that humans are fundamentally questioners, and maybe existence itself has a kind of dialogical nature.
Yes, that's a very profound point from Dr. Dinani. He highlights that being a questioner is innate in humans. Fitri is the term. It's part of our nature. The Quran even acknowledges this drive.
Right.
But the idea goes deeper. It suggests that existence itself, the way things are, kind of poses a question related to their potential. Well, think of a seed. Its existence holds the potential to be a tree. In a way, its being asks the environment, will I get what I need to fulfill this potential?
Okay, like a demand for conditions to be met.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And reality responds based on those conditions. Our own potential works similarly, asking questions of the world through our interactions.
That's a really interesting way to frame it.
Yeah.
How does that tie back to understanding and dialogue?
It connects through a really crucial philosophical principle Tusi explored, building on Ibn Sina. One cannot know a thing except by what is in oneself of it.
Okay, say that again. Know a thing except by what is in oneself of it.
Yeah, it basically means for understanding to happen, there has to be some kind of resonance, some shared nature or affinity. The term is Seniat, between the knower and the thing being known.
Affinity. Seniat. Like you need something in common.
Exactly. You can't truly grasp, say, warmth if you have absolutely no capacity to feel temperature. You can't understand color without sight. There needs to be a bridge, a shared quality. So, if existence is a kind of dialogue, our ability to understand its questions relies on this Seniat, having something within us that resonates with what we're observing or trying to understand.
Okay.
Dr. Dinani used that striking image of the Jama, the world-revealing cup. The human is a microcosm reflecting the macrocosm. We can understand the universe because, in a way, it's reflected within us.
So that shared ground, that affinity, is what makes understanding possible in dialogue too.
Precisely. Whether it's dialogue between people or dialogue with the text, genuine understanding hinges on finding that common ground, that Seniat, rooted in our shared humanity, reason, experiences.
And there was a theological connection mentioned briefly regarding Tusi's Shia perspective.
Yes, just briefly. Dr. Dinani noted that in Tusi's view, within Shia theology, the Imam possesses a perfect, complete affinity Seniat with the divine.
Yeah.
This is tied to the concept of Esmat, or infallibility, which Tusi connects to God's own infallibility is Mirab. The idea there is that perfect affinity allows for perfect understanding of the divine source.
Right, within that specific theological framework. Okay, so pulling this all together, Tusi's ideas about dialogue are really quite layered.
They really are. It's about collaboration, not winning. It's a shared search for truth, not owning it. And dialogue happens everywhere between people inside our heads with books.
And underpinning it all is this idea that understanding needs connection, that resonance, that Seniat.
Exactly, between the one trying to know and whatever is being known.
It's a powerful way to think about how we should engage with ideas and with each other. Really pushes for understanding over just being right.
It certainly does. It encourages a kind of intellectual humility, I think, and a real openness to learning.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. How could consciously bringing some of Tusi's approach into your life that focus on understanding, seeking truth together, recognizing that need for affinity, how might that change things?
Yeah, how could it change your conversations, the way you learn, how you approach viewpoints different from your own?
Definitely something to reflect on. Tusi's wisdom gives us a lot to chew on.
It certainly does. And we look forward to exploring more of his insights in our future deep dives. Thanks for joining us for this exploration on Wisdom Unveiled.